ONEV, on to never-ending victory.
How's it? All right, we just weighed that.
Yeah.
How often do you actually wear that?
Almost every event, unless I'm in my hometown. Like, I don't need my belt if I'm in my hometown, but being back, where people don't know me, it's on. So, you go to an event, that's a 6-hour event, holding this on your neck the whole time.
Yeah.
But we actually just weighed it for the first time. 10.1.
That's kind of crazy. I didn't expect it to be that heavy.
This is actually one of my second lightest one. We have my two other ones. They changed the design. I think because a lot of fighters are like, oh, we don't want to carry these around. But this one is definitely a little bit lighter than my other ones.
That's crazy. Well, thanks for bringing it to the podcast, and welcome back to the ONEV podcast. I'm your host, Mike Krzyston, and today we are recording in beautiful Northwest Indiana, our home. And really happy to be here. We're in Region Wrestling Academy, a beautiful facility in Highland, Indiana, and we are joined with King Kai Stewart. What's up, man? How you doing?
Doing good. You guys just had to make me mess my hair up wrestling Stevan, which you guys are probably going to see by now. But, it was a good match. Good.
Yeah, you tried so hard to not wrestle him before we did the podcast.
I know. Oh, I was like, hey, let me get through the
the mustache was all curled up too, and everything.
I know. Yeah. I don't have my wax with me. That's the wax is the moneymaker. Death Grip wax will get you some. But you just gotta go with the flow sometimes.
Absolutely. I wish I looked better with a mustache. I rocked a dirty mustache my junior year of college. It's back when I had like a nice chin underneath this beard. It just looked dirty on me.
Were you wrestling in college?
Yeah,
so
wrestling.
the good old wrestling mustache.
Oh, you had to.
That was the initial. That was my want for my mustache. Was I'm a wrestler. We grow them out for the wrestling season, grow them out for state. But then it became like if you type in bare knuckle boxer, you see those old guys with their fists up.
Who's the most famous one?
John Sullivan.
Sullivan? Okay,
Sullivan.
yeah.
Yeah, and he has that trademarked bald head.
I feel like even barbershops use his photo for like their marketing and stuff.
I mean, here soon they're gonna start using mine. I just gotta win some more titles.
Absolutely. You're 4-time champion? Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
So depends. Four world titles means 4 world titles, bud. I'm just kidding. But no,
is that defenses?
Yeah,
or
so
I
have 4 total world titles, 3 title defenses, all in the same weight class, 145 pounds, featherweight. Fun fact, I'm actually the first bare knuckle featherweight champion. So if you compare me to the UFC, Jose Aldo was the first featherweight champion for them. So I'm in good company there.
You're the Jose Aldo bare knuckle, huh?
Exactly.
That's
well,
crazy.
and then I'd love to also bring out another stat. I'm a stat guy, and John Jones won his first UFC world title at 23 years of age. I won mine at 22. So I just got to keep the train rolling.
So
I
this
don't
is GOAT status, legitimate.
Bare knuckle's so new, and I don't want to get ahead of myself. There's a lot of work to do, a lot of learning left, but I want to enter my name into that conversation. 1, I'm young. 2, I have the bare knuckle look. I'm representing. I carry the belt everywhere I go. I bleed black and gold at this point. Like there's a lot of talk. Oh, Kai's just wasting people's time because he's trying to get to the UFC. That was the original goal. But whenever you become the king of something, why the hell would you leave?
Why'd you leave? Exactly.
So
you're talking about bare knuckle being new. Obviously, like the practice of bare knuckle boxing is old, but like the recent surge in having a promotion, a national promotion, a worldwide promotion. How does that kind of fit? How did that fit into your plan fighting when you started going professional?
So I pro debuted in bare knuckle. The BKFC 1.0 model is what they were calling it. Was bringing Mike Perry, Eddie Alvarez, Chad Mendez, all these ex-UFC guys who have big names and they did a lot for the sport. Then you fast forward, it's being new. They have to look for homegrown talent. They need to look for their internal homegrown star. Look none other than right here. As much as I would love to confidently say that I still just have so much more learning left to do, a lot more knowledge left to go into the tank. But I get to pave the way and kind of make this sport on my own. Like I said, I love my coaches, Coach Coral, Coach Dylan Lemery, my wrestling coach Sears Tiernan, my MMA coach Dave Evans. Like they've all brought me to where I am, but they've never done a bare knuckle boxing match in their life. And even they know that. Like that's why whenever sometimes coaching me can be hard for them, because I watch bare knuckle fight after bare knuckle fight after bare knuckle fight, and I'm like, what works, what doesn't? As a wrestler, how can I use my clinch? And it's a combination of me and my girlfriend game planning. Like my girlfriend is a way better striker than me. I teach her wrestling. She teaches me how to throw a punch. And so it's just been a lot of make it up as you go. And that's the position I love to be in, because I always tell myself I don't want a boss. I didn't want to work a regular job just because I wasn't done competing. And wrestling got cut short for me due to injury, COVID, all the sorts. But I found this, and nobody can really tell me what to do because I'm making it up as I go.
No, I mean, that's a beautiful way to be making a living. I'm kind of curious for the casual fans, which unfortunately I am. What's the difference between bare knuckle boxing and traditional boxing?
So I mean, you got the big obvious one. We don't have any gloves. We do get to tape in our hands, our wrists, and they want us to tape a thumb. Some guys are tough. They'll do one wrap around their wrist and then they'll tape their thumb, and I think that prevents eye pokes. But then let's go into actual rules. So boxing, the second you initiate a clinch, the ref might give you a punch, might give you a dirty break, but most of the time both guys are going to hug it out, raise their arms, and the ref is going to pull them apart.
And then they go. Because I was watching one of your fights, and you kind of you had a collar tie.
Yeah.
And you knocked him out with an uppercut.
Well, that's exactly why I feel like I found early success. I've deep dived into my boxing. I knew that was my hole, so I knew for time being I could get away from concentrating the clinch. I'm back doing what I do best because I don't want to go away from what got me to the dance. But I've just been going boxing. But back to the rule set, I can grab a hold, and as a wrestler, I think that has given me the supreme edge over any boxer. I was calling out Ryan Garcia for a little bit, and I truly mean that, because he comes to bare knuckle boxing, he's a stud. He's one of the best boxers on planet Earth.
Right.
But once you add that clinch, it's a totally different ball game.
Absolutely.
So. And then, same scoring system. You have the 10-8 must system. You get a knockdown, it's a point off the card. Cuts, a lot more cuts, a lot more doctor stoppages. And that's what's scary. I've never said yes or no to a fight. I signed the contract.
Yeah.
I've never had a choice. I wish I've had a choice, because I would have actually legitimately chosen tougher competition.
Sure.
But these Miami Muppets that they put in there, they can't hang with me. But I've never said no, and I wish that they could. I've lost my train of thought. I'm glad this isn't live.
No, it's fine. I think that kind of explains enough, the difference between the sport, boxing and bare knuckle.
Uh-huh.
What I'm kind of curious about is something. We were out last night, hanging out and talking and chatting. You mentioned Conor McGregor. Conor is he a part owner in BKFC?
Yeah. So none of us really have the actual information, but we know that he has a needle-moving stake in the company, is what has been known to us. And honestly, even though, so I've fought twice since Conor McGregor has come through, and I've gotten to message him, and he called me the wrestler with the mustache, and he's saying how I can be that guy for them, and I love that and all. But I think it's time. I hope that he comes to the next fight. He has not been to one of my fights live and in person yet, and hopefully my next one, he'll be there. But let's just take outside of the sport. Bare knuckle just wasn't really accepted, and it's because it's a new sport. I do truly believe the more people that just watch it once, the more consistent fans we're gonna have.
Why do you think it's not accepted right away?
Well, it's brutal.
It
really is brutal. But whenever you boil it down, there's a lot of blood, but fights are quicker. There's no grappling, and as a lifelong wrestler, I love it. I love wrestling, but the UFC has become almost so unwatchable for me because I like action. After watching bare knuckle after bare knuckle, you have 2-minute rounds, 5 2-minute rounds, super quick, and it's brutal. And the brutality is what we're struggling getting into the mainstream with, just because we're gonna get shadow banned with a lot of blood. We don't have a major TV deal because of how violent it is. I heard that there's gonna be a lot of stuff changing, but once Conor got involved, my personal sponsorships just exploded. Yeah. People are like, oh, Conor's involved now. Oh, you were in Sturgis partying with Conor.
You've hung out with him.
Yeah. Right? So he definitely has that it factor, and he's done it better than anybody else in combat sports. If you're a combat sports athlete, unless you're in glove boxing, which miraculously they have a lot more money than the rest of the combat sports, but if you're an MMA fighter or bare knuckle boxer, you look at Conor and be like, okay, he's done it.
Yeah.
I can do it. Conor's done it. I can do it.
Right.
Especially I'm not afraid to speak my mind. I'm not afraid to tear into my opponents. I'll never attack them personally like they attack me, but if they have Zan tattooed across their face, I'm gonna call it out.
Absolutely.
But it's possible, and Connor has really. I feel like he's really been helping character develop people because there hasn't been that with bare knuckle. The UFC, they have media training. They're just further along. Everything that I say can basically be like, in 5 years down the road, we're not going to have these issues. But I think we're 6 or 7 years in. I think 7 years now, maybe 8. I think it was 2017 in Wyoming that they started. So we've made this much progress in this amount of time. Like, I truly believe in 5 years, even just 5 years, we're going to be. I don't even want to say competing with the UFC because it's two totally different sports, but we're gonna be on that.
Something notable.
We're gonna be, we're gonna be up there, and like we're not a competition of the UFC. Like it's two totally different sports. So that's why saying those words, it's like, oh, we're not trying to compete, we're not trying to be bigger, but we will be like, we'll be noticed. Like we're gonna put them on notice.
Where are a lot of the fights at? Because you kind of mentioned yesterday that some states don't even have it. It's not legalized.
Yeah,
something
so
like that.
I don't know the ins and the outs of the legalization of it, but I do know that there has to be actual litigation on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Hollywood, Florida, and I actually have the gate record at the Hollywood Hard Rock Live.
Nice.
And that's their home away from home because Philly for the longest time has not been legalized. Next weekend, Knucklemania 5, crazy event that I will not be at. They are going, that's going to be their home. That's where bare knuckle, all the executives are from, and they just got it legalized a couple months ago. So I think we're going to see a lot more shows there. But this is also their first arena show. They said that they're on track to sell out 18,000 seats, and that's it's going to put. This is the card that's going to put bare knuckle really into the mainstream. We got to thank Eddie Alvarez and Jeremy Stevens for that, which I hope to fight Jeremy Stevens. I don't think he's very tough. I think that he throws in hopes, and I hope to get that fight. But bare knuckle, I mean, I fought in Montana, my home state, and I'm grateful to be able to sell the tickets up there. I defended my title for the first time in Salt Lake City.
Okay.
They're doing really well because then they're in Spain. They opened up Italy. They announced Dubai. They're consistently in the UK. They're
really. I feel like UK would kind of be a hotbed.
Yeah, a huge hotbed.
Yeah.
I hope that I could fight somebody from the UK next because I truly believe that they're a lot tougher than the people that we currently have in our rankings, and that's just going to take it one more step towards being a true world title. Yeah, I'm a bare knuckle world champion. There's people from all over the world in the rankings, but I haven't fought anybody from over there.
Have you gone overseas to compete yet, or
no,
do you have any plans to?
I do think that there's been nothing talked about, but I just something tells me overseas is next because I heard that I'm a pay-per-view guy. I heard my last pay-per-view did pretty well, so it's time to broaden my horizons. As much as I'd love to fight in Montana, that does really nothing for a new fan base.
Sure.
And in the grand scheme of things, you can be the best fighter on planet Earth, but if you're not doing the influencer, the social media type stuff, and you're actually growing real human beings to your audience, you won't go anywhere in the sport. And that's what's sad, because I think there's untapped talent all over the world, but it's people that don't want to pick up their phone.
Right.
They don't want to pick up their phone, which is respect.
And they're stubborn about it too sometimes, unfortunately.
And I think it's
like you said.
I get it, and I actually applaud them. I applaud them for it, but it is unfortunate because so much hard work and talent is being wasted in my opinion. Because I was that way for the longest time, like I was saying before. Like I don't film, I don't edit, but now that I have to, we're doing pretty good with it. So.
Yeah. You kind of brought up home a couple times, Montana. What's that like? Where are you from originally? Yeah, Great Falls, Montana. I was born in Kansas. Nobody's got to know. But we moved at a young age up to Great Falls, Montana. Actually, a small town of like 50 people, Loma, Montana. Really? Yeah. So, but it was a village, I think. Yeah, it was a village. Yeah, I think we're definitely the Loma Village, Lomaville. But that's, I think, where I got a lot of my hard work from. Growing up around all those farmers. My mom was actually a single mother, truck driver for a farmhand. Like she really taught me the definition of hard work. But that's also just the Montana way of life. Like we have to work hard to make it out. But then, outside of the hard work stuff, you have the beautiful mountains, you have the beautiful rivers, you go fishing at literally there's three, in where I live, there's 3 rivers within a
5-mile radius, and then if you travel an extra 25 minutes, there's a fourth river. So there's just so much opportunity for the outdoor life. And then you pair that with the freedom. Like in Washington, it's beautiful where I live now.
Yeah, because you're in Spokane.
Yeah, we're in Spokane. We moved to train. I'm gonna be back to Montana as soon as I can, but. I've been trying to go fishing, but they have just the weirdest fishing laws, and like, this lake isn't open, but this lake is, and it's so hard that I haven't even been out fishing since I moved to Washington. But in Montana, it's like you can go hike basically anywhere you want as long as it's not private property. Like you're good to go. A lot of open public land, and that's what makes Montana just special.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I've only been to Montana a handful of times. I didn't even mean it as like a joke. I'm being serious. Like for some reason, the sky is bigger there. It's really cool.
Yeah.
What kind of fishing do you do? You fly fishing? Or?
I've actually never dabbled in fly fishing.
Really? I kind of feel like that's the main thing.
I know it is, and I have a lot of friends that want to take me. I just haven't found the time. But I do fish for trout. But we fish for walleye is like a really big challenge up there. Like there's good walleye, but you really have to work for it. It's not like lakes that are stocked with them. It's just a natural walleye. Then we have catfish and sturgeon, which not really the best for eating, but very fun to fight. Very fun fish. We'll go out there and we'll fish for carp. We'll find any fish that we can catch. But the big ones are walleye, trout, northern pike, all the sorts. And I actually spent a lot more time fishing than I did hunting. I like them equally, but I spent more time fishing because hunting season is always in wrestling season.
Yeah.
So it always affected my ability to be able to go out and hunt. So
curious on the way you described your lifestyle at home in Montana. Now you're in Spokane, kind of limits you. Yeah. What other kind of hobbies or interests do you have outside of fighting and training when you're out in Spokane?
Well, I've picked up golf. I feel like there's so much content in golf. I think that it's a very fun way to relax, but you're still being active. Disc golf has been really fun to me as well.
Love disc golf.
Yeah,
dude. I picked that up this past year.
Yeah, this is my first year as well.
Yeah.
And then I did just get a dog. His name is Marty. He's a poodle. I rescued him. That's going to take up most of my time. Like it's winter, so we're being lazy couch potatoes in the winter time. But I'm excited to take him out to the lakes. Poodles are water dogs, so we're going to see what we can do with him. Maybe we can get him duck hunting, but he's a little old to train that.
That's cool.
We'll see.
That's crazy, man. When it comes to training for something like bare knuckle, I mean, how much does that differentiate? How different is that than training for traditional boxing or MMA?
Well, I would say it's extremely difficult to train because I've never sparred bare knuckle.
What's sparring like?
Yeah, but we boxing spar, man. Like I will do the clinch. I'll activate the clinch. I'll bring it. I won't do it to the boxes in my boxing gym because they don't like it. But I'll invite MMA guys in to where they're not going to be offended by the clinch.
Right.
But sometimes we'll put on a little bit smaller gloves to really let our hands fly. But we don't want the brain injury in practice. And I'm getting to the point where I don't really need to spar anymore. I just need to work on the little things. But for the longest, I'm not a fighter. I didn't grow up fighting, so I definitely need to be in there getting these sparring rounds in, just normal boxing rounds, whether they're 16-ounce boxing gloves all the way down to 10-ounce. Sometimes we'll throw on puffies. Me and Brady Heaston, we throw on the puffies and go pretty hard sometimes. But in terms of, you see guys hitting hammers, you see guys hitting walls, and I haven't done none of that. And my hands are fine. They're a little beat up, but I mean, it's bare knuckle, so what do you expect?
Are you the only bare knuckle guy at your gym?
Not anymore. Yeah, I am. There were some amateurs from my Great Falls, Montana gym that did it, and my girlfriend being one of them. They did amateur bare knuckle, which is with 4-ounce puffy gloves.
Okay.
Same rule set. But no, there are some other guys in town that are on the roster, and I'm trying to get them to come train with me, but that's the thing about Spokane. I do think that there's a lot of great fighters, but I think there's too many gym beefs.
Gotcha.
And it's been awesome seeing it. So I'm at Eaglestone Boxing Club, which is not part of Sick Jitsu. It's not part of the other one, Warrior Camp. It's my own thing, but all these Warrior Camp guys, these Sick Jitsu guys, we're starting to see everybody come in and start training together, and that's what I want. Like I want everybody possible, because it resorts back to what I was saying earlier. I don't want to say I don't need a coach, because I need a coach, but I don't need one place. I just need to have a place to be able to expand my knowledge whether it's taking things from my boxing coach Coral or if it's making up some crazy bare knuckle footwork to get inside. You know,
Sure.
So I'm not worried about the team, but I'm worried about everybody coming together and put the Pacific Northwest the hot spot for fighting. Because right now, you know, you have Vegas, you have Arizona, you have all those hot spot places, but then you look at Spokane and Montana and Idaho and Oregon, you have just some studs, you know.
Yeah.
You can.
I mean, just the guys that train with Dylan.
Right.
Shout out DL Training System.
Yes. It's so crazy. Mike Krzyston, we're training at his cabin in the woods is where we're doing a lot of our strength and conditioning. We have Brady Easton, Melissa Amaya, Juliana Miller, a handful of other professional athletes. Devon Jackson, he was a big one for my last fight because he was the same height as my opponent. But
Okay.
it's just I want more people to come together because the world is big enough and there is enough stuff out there for all of us. We're not competing. Let's all stop competing in the same town. I always refused fights against fellow Montanans, and I would always be called, oh, Kai's ducking. I'm like, no, I've been so public that I don't want to fight another Montanan. Let's fight somebody from Florida and take their fan base, you know, and
absolutely.
now we grow. But, you know, it's taken some time to get people to come around with that idea, but I do think that there's a big shift in people willing to work with each other in Spokane. Hopefully I get to lead that pack because it's fun, you know.
Yeah.
Without Brady, without Dylan, I would not have won. I don't like saying that, but I don't think that I could have had such successful camps without those guys.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, man. You know, it takes a village. You know, what I'm kind of curious about is at what point in your combat, you know, career were you like, yeah, you know, bare knuckle is a legitimate thing that I want to pursue?
Oh my gosh. So I did 10 amateur MMA fights, and I was getting ready to go pro MMA, and then bare knuckle came to Montana, and on 2 weeks' notice, they needed a ticket seller, and I was the biggest ticket seller in Montana. And there was this guy I beat in MMA, Derek Gates, who was my debut in bare knuckle, and he swore up and down that if we took the wrestling out of it, he would beat me. So I said, perfect opponent. I don't even want to do bare knuckle, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
And so I give him an opportunity to prove himself. You know, we all have goals, and I go out there and I finish him in the first round, and it was before the rankings came out. It was before everything. So fun fact, I originally did bare knuckle because they were offering me the exact amount of money for vet bills, a puppy, and like the stuff for the puppy. And being a college kid, I was like, let's go, we're doing this. So I didn't get the dog, but now I have 4 world titles, which basically means I did it for the dog, and I realized I already had that dog in me, you know? So, but there was no rankings. I remember vividly getting out of the ring, and I was hyped up. I just won my pro debut. And then just overwhelmingly, I shut down. I just started thinking. I was like, Coach, like, I know you said I probably shouldn't do more than one. But like, I can do this. Like, that was easy. And I knew my opponent. And I respect Derek Gates, but I kind of knew the fight was going to go that way. It was a perfect matchup, so he did get the opportunity to try to beat me, but I was so comfortable in there. And I don't even think I was ever that comfortable in wrestling. Even at the year that I was undefeated going into the state finals match, there was not a single level of comfort that I had in the bare knuckle ring. Just, it's so peaceful. You walk out, you see blood all like. I was the first ever bare knuckle fight in Montana. So I bring this up. It was clean. There's no blood, no nothing. Yeah. Now I'm a main event fighter. I walk out into a bloodbath. Like now, like
the canvas is just splattered.
It was nice and cool whenever I walked out there. I was like, oh, we're just going out here to fight, And now it's like you're walking down the hallways and people are like wiping their hands, blowing their nose, and there's just blood walking through the corridor going into their ring. And I'm just like looking. I'm like, wow. I am in deep. Because, like, I didn't want to be where I'm at, but it's just, you know, go with the flow. And it's opened doors that I never, like, the Conor McGregor door in itself was enough proof in the pudding that I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
Like, they could have hired anybody on planet Earth, any A-list celebrity, anybody that had, like, that most people would be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But they chose Conor McGregor, or Conor McGregor chose them. Like, Conor McGregor came in and that was my idol. I saw him doing what he was doing during his run, during his tear, and I was like, wow, I that. But I wanted to do it in wrestling.
Yeah,
I didn't really want.
right.
This was before I even did my MMA debut. I just wanted to bring that attitude to wrestling, and I did in high school. Then I brought some cockiness into my college, and there's just no money in wrestling, and that's
the most unfortunate part about it.
It is, but I do think that's why there's so much passion in wrestling. It's a lot like
you do it for the love of it, man.
I felt really free in that bare knuckle ring, but whenever it came down to the actual outside of the sport mentality of it, you got to worry about sponsors. You have to worry about how much you're going to get paid. Then you have injuries. But wrestling, you don't get anything out of it other than personal fulfillment, and that's what I loved about wrestling. That was the one thing I loved about wrestling, that there was really no obligation to do. The obligation was within yourself. It wasn't, your coach could be hard on you, your parents could be hard on you, but in the end, it's like what really matters. It's like, how bad do I want it? And that's what's really cool, and that's what I've got to carry over into bare knuckle.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to ask you, what do you think really kind of separates you from other guys, in your promotion?
I would definitely have to say mindset is up there, but I mean, we could call it wrestling grit, mindset, wrestling clinch. But to activate a wrestling clinch, I got to get close enough. And one of my opponents was 6'4", and I had to close that distance to make it dirty. So there has to be that level of grit that says, I'm going to move forward no matter what. And I think that a lot of these guys don't really know what they're getting into whenever they go in there with me, and we've seen it because 2 of my last 3 opponents were like 6-0 with 6 first-round finishes, and then I go out there and even though it was a 5-round fight and I didn't get finishes, I made it look easy. Like, it was an easy 5-round fight.
Yeah.
And that's what sets me apart, the mentality of it, because I'm willing to go to that dark place. Being 12 years old doing insane wrestling practices built me for that. Mindset is everything. Mind over matter.
Absolutely. No, I'm a huge proponent for that. I mean, I was also being a lifelong wrestler. It's like you learn how to, have to take yourself to deep waters before you take someone else there. I think it's a very interesting concept of just being able to kind of apply that in different areas of your life. You're obviously taking it to, the professional combat level.
Another big thing I would say, going back to mindset, just to stay on it, I've given up the want to win or lose.
Okay.
It's how good am I doing outside of the ring or cage? Am I doing the right things? Am I eating the right stuff? If I say I'm going to practice at this time, am I going at that time? If I say I have 3 practices this day, am I doing those? If I do everything that happens, what else can I do? Because especially bare knuckle, like Howard Davis, him and I should have fought for the first world title, but he got cut in the first round. He was dominating the fight, but got cut. The doctor stopped it. The other guy got the world title shot. So if you think too much and put too much pressure about winning and losing on yourself, that's whenever you start to have that nervous energy. If I never won another world title, I'd be okay. Now, I want the money that comes with it. I'm trying to build that money.
Yeah.
But at this point, I have 4 belts. I have 4 of these at home. Like, they're going to sit there and do nothing. But as long as I'm still having fun, I'm going to keep doing it. So,
what's the King Kai brand all about? What's your MO, man?
I'm the heel. I have become the heel of bare knuckle, and it's been an accident. Like, I feel like I'm a good guy. I'm one of the youngest guys in the organization. I am the youngest champion in the organization's history, and they just put this. I'm not afraid to talk back. I don't really like initiating, because I was a youth wrestling coach, so I have a lot of youth watching me, and I have to take that really seriously. So I try not to be that guy that initiates a lot of the banter, but if somebody comes at me, I'm not afraid to go at them. But I even have a tattoo right here as the name of my wrestling team, the Humble Team, THT, and I believe that. I may come across as this guy with a big ego, but I mean, it's combat sports. If you don't truly believe you're going to go in there and win, then what's the point? You can get seriously hurt. But outside of the ring, I want to do good things outside of the ring or cage, because a lot of coaches gave me opportunities whenever they didn't need to. And I want to be that guy, whether I help MMA teammates, a youth wrestling program. I want to do bigger things outside of the ring than in the ring. The ring is just my step to get there, to be able to afford it.
Absolutely. That's cool. what I'm kind of curious about is like you keep bringing up you're young, you're the youngest champion. You've already had a lot of accolades to your resume as well. I know you want to keep fighting a little bit, but like, what's the plan after being a professional bare knuckle fighter?
Oh, the plan after I'm gonna coach. I'm gonna find myself back coaching. This is the first year since I've been done with high school that I haven't coached on a team, on a high school or youth team, and I can feel like something's missing. So we're definitely gonna go back there. I would love to get to the point, because like I said, I want to fight until I'm not having fun anymore.
Sure.
The grind is done. Like, I don't want to say that. Getting through the rankings, into the title shot, earning your title shot, that's the hardest part.
Yeah. Well, you're a name now, so it's like people will probably just want to fight you just because of your name.
Exactly. So the owner of the company literally said, Kai Stewart can never win another bare knuckle fight, but nobody can take away what he's done for the sport, meaning I embody the entire rule set of bare knuckle boxing. A lot of people give me shit for it. They're like, oh, you're just a hugger. Oh, you're protecting yourself. I'm like, duh, I don't want to get hit. But I just want to do good in the world. And I hope that, with the baddest man on planet Earth tournament coming up, which is a bare knuckle thing, $15 million first prize payout. I'm telling you right now, if it's my weight class, I'm going to take it home. This is the first podcast I've said that. But I'm going to take it home, and after that, if I'm still having fun fighting, I'll take a fight a year. Yeah. I'll do a fight a year, a fight every 2 years, really build
Pull a John Jones, just get a supercar or something.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. So, but then with $15 million, you can make it. You can make a difference in the world.
Yeah.
In the world, I say, but if I can make a difference in the wrestling community, that's a massive win for me. The influencer stuff, social media is fun and all, but if I didn't have to, I probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
I would probably, if I'm doing cool stuff, I would love to have it vlogged, and that's the type of content that I would do. But I would just be a huge advocate for fighter pay after I'm done, or maybe even manage fighters, because there's a lot of shady managers in this world. There really is.
Yeah, I can kind of tell.
I love my agent, so don't think this is about you guys. You guys have done pretty good for me, but I just hear some horror stories, and I'm like, there's got to be, somebody has to just try to weed those guys out. Somebody has to. And I'll talk crap to anybody. So.
Do you think it's just like a lack of like maybe business savvy from the fighter's perspective that enables a lot of these shady
I would honestly say it would just be a lack of the managers never fighting before.
Okay.
Because I feel like there's a lack of respect. Because if you, let's put an example. You have it's an easy sport you're not going to die in. Golf.
Right, golf.
You have a manager in golf. They don't have to make decisions that could alter your life. I see some of these managers that know they get 20% of a purse, so they will throw their guys in against anybody. I just think that's so unethical. That's on my list of things that I would love to do. A guide service in Montana has been on my mind big time. Even if let's say fighting tanked and I didn't have any money to show for it. Like I would work my butt off, get myself a boat, and take people out fishing.
For fishing, yeah.
Like
that sounds fun.
I would love to embody the Montana spirit after my fighting is done. And like I said, it could be after this $15 million tournament. It could be 10 years down the road. As long as I'm having fun, I'm going to be in that ring. But yeah, I just want to make a difference. In whatever I do, I just want to make a difference. And we don't know what that's going to be. Because I didn't even know I was going to do bare knuckle. This is so far left field for my life that I have no idea what's going to come in the next 5 years. I have an idea. I have a plan. I'm working hard for these goals. That doesn't mean nothing. Life is going to just keep throwing curveballs and take us where we need to be.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's really cool, just chasing something that you didn't even realize was meant for you. Is that kind of what it feels like for you right now?
Yeah.
Like especially like with Stefan's brand ONEV, with the whole thing that we're embodying is just like really kind of taking a chance on yourself. On to never-ending victory. Like the pursuit of greatness. What advice do you have for anyone, kids, adults, professionals that might be a little too afraid or hesitant to take that chance on themselves?
If you want something and you put the time and effort into it, don't care what anybody else says. I had the world against me for 3 out of my 4 title fights, and the odds said I would think at one point I was a plus 375 underdog, which I thought was the biggest piece of disrespect. But don't be denied. If you want something, work your butt off. Like, obviously there's going to be a point in time in your life where maybe it's time to think of something else if your life is going in a negative direction because of it. But if you're having fun, if you're enjoying it, like, don't care what the haters or the noise say. If it's like, even the bosses were basically saying they didn't think that I could be a world champion for them, and I took that personally. I did what I was going to do, and I worked hard, and it was the grindstone. And I said I was going to start training full time. I started training full time, and never looked back.
That's crazy, man. What do you have to say to the haters?
Keep betting against me so my friends and family can make some money, haters, because whenever that line goes, whenever I get that bigger plus number, everybody around me is going to keep making money, because there's three things in life that are a guaranteed: taxes, death, and Kai Stewart's undefeated bare knuckle boxing record.
I think that's a perfect place to cut, man. Dude, Kai, thanks so much for coming to the region.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here on the ONEV podcast. Stay tuned for more episodes coming soon, and we're on to never-ending victory, baby. Here we go. Show the bell.
Let's go, baby. Bare knuckle to the moon!